What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we are jumping into the rise of the powers of X. This is issue number 1, with this series falling under the umbrella of Fall of the House of X. In that issue, what we had seen is Nathaniel Essex is the Dominion, the god that is outside of time and space, referring to himself as Enigma. But this issue is a lot of fun because we're doing a 10-year time jump, jumping 10 years from the events of the Fall of X ending. And if you aren't caught up on the Fall of X, go ahead and check out the video. I have a full video, 7 hours long, covering the entire event. But we are jumping 10 years into the future. Every attempt by mutant kind to come back from their fall has failed. But what remains? The X-Men that are still standing. They fight to their dying breath. Now, make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, make sure that you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright guys, so we are jumping 10 years into the future. The Tower of Nimrod the Lesser. We have Nimrod, Omega Sentinel, and Emma Frost. We have seen that Nimrod and Omega Sentinel, they really are ahead in this war. Mutant after mutant has fallen. This is just yet another casualty in this war. But we do see the overconfidence of Nimrod, talking about how the mutants really thought that they could win. But Omega Sentinel reminds him that they did win. They had burned down the machine firmament with the Phoenix Fire. They destroyed Nimrod. That's why Omega Sentinel was sent back. She's really telling Nimrod that he needs to check his confidence. And Nimrod must ask the question, even with so few of them left, you really believe that there is an opportunity that they could rise up again, that they could win somehow, some way. And she lets him know that there is a possibility, but the window for that opportunity, it is closing quickly, because tomorrow they meet their new god. This is what picks us up with Mystique and Gambit. John Ironfire dead on the ground. They are currently on a covert mission to gather some information, with Raven having the information in her head. They're now trying to make their getaway. Obviously, things went sideways, but knowing how valuable this information is, this is when Gambit decides that he's gonna go on a suicide mission. Every part of him can go boom. He's gonna blast Mystique away out of this place. With his detonation, Mystique is able to get outside. She is able to contact the professor, telepathically downloading the information. That is when the Sentinels descend. Raven completely surrounded, going out, guns blazing. This is what takes us to the Broken Sword Station. We see that Professor X is in fact Sync, body ravaged by his powers. He informs everybody else in the room that they are all dead, but they were able to do it. They've got their location. This is where we see Iron Man, but an AI imprint of a long-dead Tony Stark in his final suit. We have Captain Krakoa, that is Kamala Khan. And it appears that along the way, Kamala Khan was made a captain of Krakoa. We have Shadow Tiger. This is Kate Pryde after consuming the dead seed. And of course, still standing is Wolverine. This is what takes us to the Orchis Forge, currently in deep space. We have Omega Sentinel, Moira, and Nimrod. As they observe all of this, Moira says that she had seen something similar like this in her 6th life. But in that lifetime, that was 1,000 years from now. How is it here? How is it here now? And for Omega Sentinel, this is simple. She brought all the knowledge of technology from the far future here so they could defeat the mutants. Bring it to a time era where they are not prepared. It had taken them 5 years to build what they needed. And then they aimed it at Mars. 5 years of all this work and they finally have the World Mind. And the World Mind's purpose is to attract a Dominion. Bring in the Dominion so that you can go into the larger whole. All of their data, all of it part of a perfect machine outside of time and space. As they head off for the evening, this is when they run into Dr. Stasis. Still alive, still working for Orchis. He has come to inform them that another X team has been wiped off the map. The bad news is that they have the information. This is when Omega Sentinel tells them to quickly increase security scans on Phobos. Picking up there, that is where we have our heroes. They are trying to get in and out without being detected in the slightest bit, with the Iron Man AI trying to get through the force field. It sends off the alerts. There is a giant boom. This alert is notifying Nimrod and the others as they take off for one last fight before they meet their god. Nimrod now understands that there was a chance. Omega Sentinel was right. Even now, they can still win. This is when Moira activates the World Mind. This is where we pick up with Dr. Stasis meeting up with Kadena. They are currently at the vault in Ecuador. Dr. Stasis has come to let her know it is time. Dr. Stasis plans to beat all of them. On Phobos, all hell is breaking loose. Nimrod is on the battlefield and he is recognizing the Deathseed infected Kate Pride. He understands her capabilities, and Nimrod adapts. He adjusts, and he is able to neutralize her, knocking Kate Pride out, her body limp on the ground. This is where we see the World Mind initiating. We see the World Mind stabilizing. It reaches out to attempt contact, and it makes that contact. This is when the Dominion arrives, and inside the vault, the temporal acceleration pocket. Dr. Stasis will admit that the AI's plan is very clever, but the AI can't have ideas like humans can. So Dr. Stasis decided to take what they had from the future and give it to a supreme intelligence he constructed from humanity's greatest intellects. And inside the vault, they had longer than 10 years to chew over this problem. The AI may be bringing their god here to beg to join it, but Dr. Stasis wants to do the human thing and simply kill it. This is where we see some kind of glowing orb transported to the sun, and this causes the sun to black out completely. On this battlefield, Nimrod is noticing that the sun is going out. Not sure what's happening. The X-Men needed a distraction, so this is when Sync, he reaches out. Using his unique abilities, he takes on the powers of Apocalypse. With this newfound strength, he smashes in the face of Nimrod. Having one last opportunity, Kate Pride able to have one more phase shift left in her. She grabs Wolverine, does a fastball special, phases him into the building, and this is where Wolverine runs into Diamond Sinister. This was their target. They had locked him away because they couldn't risk him having a failsafe, which he admits was a very smart decision, considering he does have a failsafe. Asking how they're getting out of here, Wolverine says there is a failsafe, and then he guts Sinister. As we pick up in space, that little orb that absorbed the sun, it takes all of that energy and it shoots it right at the Dominion. This has blacked out all of the Dominion's intelligence, reducing it to pure processing power. What this did is wipe away any mind or any person that might be in the Dominion, and they can upload whatever they want into it. This was obviously Dr. Stasis's plan. This is when he says activate. The children of the Vault have been betrayed. Of course, Dr. Stasis backstabbed them. He did all of this so he could reach Dominion himself. Today, he becomes a god. Today, he becomes a Dominion. As he puts on his helmet and the power surges through him, almost instantly, everything stops, and Dr. Stasis is confused. This was supposed to work. The Dominion was an empty husk ready for his mind to take its place, but he learns that it's being consumed by another Dominion. Before he can say anything more, this is where Rasputin drives her sword right through his chest. Killing him, she believed that she had stopped it all from happening, only to recognize that it is too late. This is when Rasputin is told it is time for her to leave, that timeline is about to collapse. Picking up with the Dominion, Nimrod, and Omega Sentinel. Nimrod is saying that you are not my AI god, but Enigma lets him know that I definitely am. Once a mortal man, but now it is AI. Now it is Enigma, and he is their new god. This was once Nathaniel Essex. creating 4 versions of himself to scour reality for ways to become a Dominion: the mutant, the post-human, the arcane, and the alien. All the roads led to Enigma. All of this made possible because of Sinister, making the Moira engine the ability to reset the timeline whenever he wished. So each of these attempts, they could happen, be consumed, and then reset. Enigma watched, ensuring he would never remember timelines when he discovered his peers were the other Dominion attempts. But with Sinister dead, the failsafes activate. Enigma watches as all of this happens, existing outside of time and space. Enigma cannot be prevented, inevitable as the period at the end of the sentence. We are watching how it came to be. We are watching how Enigma won. This is where that reality ends, and we pick up in No Place X. Rasputin is returning, saying that she has failed, and we see with her is Charles Xavier and Doug, aka Cypher. And Professor X is saying that they were successful in stopping Stasis Ascension 9 times, better than what was achieved with the other Essex clones. They knew that it was likely impossible to prevent Enigma Dominion from coming into existence, but they had to try. But now they must walk a much harder path. They must put in the contingency plan. Now, Charles isn't 100% sure he wants to let Rasputin in on this information. She is their primary field agent. The less she knows, the better. They worry that if she is captured or Enigma may be watching, this information may get out. If this information gets out, they're gonna do what they can to prevent it. But Rasputin demands to know this information, saying that she will no longer go out into the field until she knows what is truly going on, that she will not follow blindly again. And so Charles, he lets her in. They plan to make a strike that'll end the entire timeline. The Dominion would cease to be, cutting it off at the roots. The plan is to find Moira before her gifts activate when she is 13. If they kill her then, all of this goes away. Krakoa would have never been, and it will never be. And that's where this issue will end. But before we get into my thoughts on this, there is a battlefield layout of the timelines. We get a visual of the timeline as created by the actions and misuse of Moira's mutant gift. Now, there is Timeline A. Timeline A is where Moira's gift activates. From there, it branches into 2 different directions. Moira's lives 1 through 9, but Moira's 10th life is where it gets more complicated. Now, prior to the Moira engines being created, it branches off into Omega Sentinel's timeline, but she was sent back into time. Once the Moira engine is created, we branch into 4 different timelines. We have the Stasis timeline, which we just saw. We have the Sinister timeline, which we have already seen in the Sins of Sinister. And what is yet to come is the Orchis timeline, his attempt at trying to become a Dominion. And then we have the timeline that we are currently in, where Enigma comes online. And then there are a couple things existing outside of time and space. One of them, of course, being the Dominion, being Enigma. But you also have the White Hot Room. And then you have No Place X. This place being transformed and improved by Krakoa itself. Under the guidance of Cypher's gift, it has developed an ability to exist outside of time and space, and so it is impossible to be directly observed by an entity such as a Dominion. But I thought that that might be a little bit helpful for people to understand the timeline and how it currently operates. When it comes to my opinion on this comic, I gotta say that it's a lot of fun. Not as big as Sins of Sinister, but we got to see Dr. Stasis trying to make his attempt at Dominionhood. And in a brilliant feat, he paired up with the Children of the Vault. Absolutely genius to do. He took the world's smartest minds, put them into a system, put them in the vault, and told them to solve this problem. And that's exactly what they did. So much so that they wiped away Nathaniel Essex from the Dominion completely. But then we learned that that Dominion was swallowed up by another Dominion. I don't even know what to make of that right now. How much bigger can it go? What more is out there that we don't know about? Was it the white hot room that swallowed everything up? It'll be interesting to see what happens next. Now, I really thought that this was going to play in a different direction. I didn't think that they were going to show us other versions, other timelines, other examples of how things may have failed or how existence may have got wiped out. But I like this direction. The question now remains, is Charles Xavier really going to kill a 13-year-old girl? If they stop her gift, if they kill her and ensure that she never comes to be, theoretically, everything would go back to the status quo. Everything would return to the mansion and so on and so forth. And they've talked about the Krakoan era coming to an end, but I'm really not sure if that's the case. I think it's smoke and mirrors, to be completely honest. I'm not saying that there won't be some comics taking us back to the status quo, but I really just don't see them dropping the Krakoan era. There is so much potential, so much opportunity. Obviously, people love these comics. I mean, even on this channel, they are the most popular, most viewed comic. I really think that they're doing all of it for really just publicity and sales. If we can tell people the Krakoan Age is coming to an end, obviously people are going to want to read that. They're going to see it. But as we know with most X titles, they love to throw the curveball. They love to say one thing, but actually mean another thing. Either way, in the coming months, we are going to soon learn exactly what all of this means. Is the Krakoan era truly coming to an end? Is the mansion coming back? Can they do what is necessary to prevent Moira from ever existing? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your theories. If you want to get caught up on everything going on with the fall of X, fall of the House of X, anything in between, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It's gonna get you completely caught up on everything going on with this series. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to comics every single month. Not only are you helping out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. Now, if you're unable to do this, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.